Life can feel like a roller coaster at times. The ups and downs, the twists and turns, they can be exhilarating, but they can also be terrifying. One moment, you're on top of the world, feeling the rush of excitement and joy. The next, you're plummeting into uncertainty, gripped by fear and doubt. It's a wild ride, and sometimes it feels like there's no way to get off. We experience highs and lows. Those moments when we feel invincible standing on top of a hill, looking out over the vast expanse of possibilities. The times when we stand on a beach, feeling the gentle breeze and the warmth of the sun, filled with a sense of peace and contentment. And then, there are the times when we look out over a cityscape, feeling small and overwhelmed by the enormity of the world and our place in it. I remember a time when I faced a real challenge. It was a period of my life when everything seemed to be going wrong. I felt like I was standing in front of a stormy sky with dark clouds gathering and the wind howling around me. I was walking alone in a park, feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders, my head in my hands, wondering how I was going to get through it. It felt like a huge storm in my life. The dark storm clouds were a constant presence looming over me, threatening to unleash their fury at any moment. The heavy rainstorm was relentless, pounding down on me, making it hard to see a way forward. And the lightning strikes were sudden and terrifying, jolting me with fear and uncertainty. It was a time of great turmoil and confusion, and I didn't know how to navigate through it. I was scared and unsure of what to do. I felt like a person caught in a storm, with no shelter and no way to protect myself. I would sit alone on a bench in the park, feeling the cold rain soaking through my clothes, shivering with fear and uncertainty. I would look around hoping for a sign, a way out, but all I could see were the dark clouds and the relentless rain. It was a time of great fear and doubt, and I didn't know how to find my way through it. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever found yourself in the midst of a storm, feeling lost and alone, unsure of how to move forward? It's a feeling that many of us have experienced at some point in our lives. We sit on a rock by the sea, looking out at the turbulent waves, feeling small and insignificant. We stand on a mountaintop, looking out at the vast expanse below, feeling overwhelmed by the enormity of it all. We stand in the rain, feeling the cold drops on our skin, wondering how we will ever find our way through the storm. During that difficult time, I found comfort in a story about Jesus. It was a story that I had heard many times before, but in the midst of my storm, it took on a new meaning. I would sit outside reading the story, finding solace in the words. I would pray in a garden, seeking guidance and strength. I would sit peacefully by a river, feeling the calmness of the water and the presence of something greater than myself. The story became a source of comfort and hope, a reminder that I was not alone in my struggles. It's a story about a storm at sea. The disciples were in a boat, struggling against the waves, feeling the fear and uncertainty that comes with being caught in a storm. The dark clouds were gathering, the waves were crashing, and the boat was being tossed about. It was a time of great fear and doubt, and the disciples didn't know how they were going to make it through. More importantly, it's a story about trusting Jesus, even when things get tough. In the midst of the storm, Jesus was there, offering comfort and guidance. The disciples learned to trust in him, to have faith that they would make it through the storm. It's a lesson that has stayed with me, a reminder that even in the darkest of times there is hope. We can look up at the sky with hope, walk confidently through the storm and stand firm while the wind blows, knowing that we are not alone. One day, Jesus was in a boat with his disciples. They had set out to cross the Sea of Galilee, a vast and often unpredictable body of water. The day had started peacefully, with the sun shining brightly and the water calm and inviting. The disciples were in good spirits, chatting among themselves and enjoying the serene environment. Jesus, feeling the need to rest, had found a spot at the back of the boat and had fallen asleep. His disciples, though aware of the potential for sudden storms, felt secure with Jesus among them. As they sailed, the gentle rocking of the boat and the rhythmic sound of the water against the hull created a sense of tranquility. The Sea of Galilee, surrounded by hills, was known for its sudden and violent storms, but at that moment, it seemed like nothing could go wrong. The disciples, many of whom were experienced fishermen, were confident in their ability to handle the boat and navigate the waters. Jesus was asleep in the back of the boat, undisturbed by the gentle motion of the waves. His peaceful slumber was a stark contrast to the events that were about to unfold. The disciples, seeing their master resting, felt a sense of calm and assurance. They believed that as long as Jesus was with them, they had nothing to fear. Suddenly a fierce storm arose. The wind howled, and dark clouds quickly gathered, casting a shadow over the once bright and sunny day. The disciples were caught off guard by the sudden change in weather. The wind picked up speed and the waves grew taller and more menacing. The boat, which had been gliding smoothly, now rocked violently from side to side. Waves crashed over the boat, drenching the disciples and filling the boat with water. The once confident fishermen now found themselves struggling to keep the boat afloat. The storm was unlike anything they had ever experienced. The disciples were terrified, their hearts pounding with fear. They tried to bail out the water, but it seemed like a losing battle. The boat was being tossed around like a toy in the raging sea. In their desperation, the disciples woke Jesus up, crying out, "Master, Master, we are going to drown!" Their voices were filled with panic and fear. They couldn't understand how Jesus could sleep through such a violent storm. They were afraid for their lives and needed his help. The storm was relentless, and they felt helpless against its fury. They had never seen a storm this bad. The intensity of the wind and waves was overwhelming. The disciples, despite their experience and skills, were at a loss. They looked to Jesus, their only hope in this dire situation. The storm raged on, but in the midst of the chaos, they clung to the belief that Jesus could save them. Their faith was being tested, and they were about to witness a miracle that would strengthen their trust in him forever. Jesus stood up and spoke to the wind and the waves. "Peace, be still," he said. Immediately the wind died down, the waves calmed, there was a great peace. Jesus asked his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Where is your faith?" The disciples were amazed. They had never seen anything like it. This story teaches us about faith. The disciples were afraid of the storm. They didn't trust that Jesus could help them, but Jesus was more powerful than the storm. He calmed the storm with just his words. This story reminds us that we can trust in Jesus even when we are afraid. Jesus is always with us, even in the storms of our lives. We all face storms in our lives. These storms can come in many forms and at any time, often without warning. They can shake us to our core and test our faith and resilience. The important thing to remember is that we are not alone in these turbulent times. These storms might be sickness. Illness can strike unexpectedly, bringing with it pain, uncertainty, and fear. It can be a personal health crisis or the illness of a loved one, both of which can be equally devastating. The physical and emotional toll can feel overwhelming, but it is in these moments that we must hold on to hope and faith. They might be the loss of a loved one. Grief can be one of the most challenging storms to weather. The pain of losing someone dear to us can feel insurmountable, leaving a void that seems impossible to fill. During these times of sorrow, it is important to lean on our faith and the support of those around us. They might be fear or worry. Anxiety about the future, financial troubles, or personal struggles can create a storm of worry that clouds our minds and hearts. These fears can paralyze us, making it difficult to see a way forward. Yet, even in the darkest moments, we must remember that we are not alone. Whatever the storm, Jesus is with us. His presence offers a beacon of hope and a source of strength. He walks with us through every trial, providing comfort and guidance. No matter how fierce the storm, his love remains constant and unwavering. He will never leave us nor forsake us. In moments of despair, when we feel abandoned and lost, we can find solace in his promise. His unwavering support is a reminder that we are cherished and valued even when we feel at our lowest. When the storms of life come, we can remember the story of Jesus calming the storm. Just as he calmed the seas for his disciples, he can bring peace to our troubled hearts. His power is greater than any force of nature, and his love for us is boundless. We can remember that Jesus is more powerful than any storm. After the storm passes, there is always a new dawn, a fresh beginning. The calm after the storm is a testament to his grace and mercy. Let us hold on to this truth and find comfort in his everlasting presence. We can find peace in the midst of the storm by trusting in Jesus. We can pray to him. We can ask for his help. We can remember his promises. The Bible says, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalm 46:10. When we are still, we can hear God's voice. We can feel his peace. In the story, Jesus calmed the storm with his words. He said, "Peace, be still," and there was peace. God's word has power. It can calm our fears. It can give us hope. It can bring us peace. When you are going through a storm, read the Bible. Let God's words speak to you. Let them bring you peace. It's easy to trust Jesus when life is good, but what about when the storms come? That's when our faith is tested. That's when we need to remember that Jesus is with us. He will never leave us. Just like he calmed the storm on the Sea of Galilee, he can calm the storms in your life. The story of Jesus calming the storm is a reminder that we can always find peace in him. No matter what storms we face in life, Jesus is always there. He is our refuge and our strength. Trust in him. He will see you through.